Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Variety Sports Network. This is the seventh inning stretch.
And we are live here Thursday night before NFL. I know all of you are favorite here on Thursday night, but me and Edwards are joining you for a Thursday night here. We're going to talk a little baseball. As Edwards is coming on, we're doing a little draft here. Me and Logan making picks for him. This is great stuff here. Live interaction as we're going. He's got the Missouri hat on. One of my best friends in the world, Adam Darwish. If you're watching, Missouri hat, you know what I'm talking about. It's an all-time inside joke. So we got that there with it. That's why it's funny to me you're wearing it. But we got seventh inning stretch baseball, and I got Logan Stone back on as well. Ready to get into some Yankees, Ohtani, Judge kind of stuff that we've been kind of going at for a while now. So I've been kind of wanting to get you on to get your insight with it. Edwards, how are we doing out there?
I'm good, man. Life is super busy right now, ready for the holiday weekend. I mean, this is a baseball show, but let's be honest, it's college football weekend. So my one team's on right now. My other team has Saturday night prime time. I've got good college games all day long on Saturday. You got a good game for Sunday night. I don't even know what the Monday night game is, but I'm watching that one too.
Well,
I'm smoking 24 pounds of pork this weekend. Yeah, I'm gonna have a good weekend, buddy.
Logan,
So I'm happy.
this might be a lot of me and you tonight. Then it sounds like. So let's get into it a little bit here with it, Mr. Stone. Judge, Soto, Ohtani. I want to start with like me and you. I feel like me and you, Mr. Stone, have talked about these guys quite a bit, and like where they're at this year. And you've been all over the Soto train since the beginning of the year. Like I'll give you that. Like you have.
Since the beginning of time.
Slurped them up. Well, for me this year, it's just like fully invested. You've been up and doing, and then you add the Judge factor in this year as well. It's not to me. Are they the best duo ever in the sense of now? Because that's obviously impossible. They've not even played a year together. But I kind of look at it as, can they get to that level? Like the year they're having, and I'm going to get it up on the screen here as you start. Is as a duo is pretty. I mean, that's as good as it gets.
Yeah.
What do you got there, sir?
Yeah, I think it. There's that old saying that a rising tide raises all ships, and so I think whenever you have two guys who are just so great together, or so great individually, they definitely help each other, and ultimately the lineup they're in. I mean, just tremendously. And I think it shows. I mean, Soto is having the best year he's ever had. I think he's already surpassed his career high in home runs already. And I mean, Judge is having another monster year where he's on pace for 63 home runs. I mean, to me, I think it's just these two helping each other out. And in a sense, they are the best duo in MLB today because they're helping each other out. And it's not like, whereas the Nationals, they were only relying on Soto, and the Yankees for so many years were only relying on Judge. They come together, and they're the only reason really that the Yankees are still in first place.
Do you enjoy, I mean, it's obvious because they're both at like the peak of their career, peak of their powers in some sense. In the sense of Soto is on a contract year, I think he could possibly still have a better year in him. Like I'm not saying it's a career year, but I'm saying like his motivation is at a career high. Judge just got paid. He got off an injury last year. The motivation is there. Like both these guys are on sync level. And so like this year is set up for like a dynamic. Shout out to Susie Britterman in baseball and Kelsey there. Somehow they're at this game where they go back to back to back. I mean, incredible game to go to if you're at that one there, probably as well. Edwards, I mean, look at these stats here. I mean, I feel like you've been a little harsh on it. What do you think?
I mean,
how can you say this is not one of the best duos ever?
It's one of the best, yes. I won't go as far as to say it's the best. I will say it's one of the best.
Are you still Lou Gehrig and Babe Ruth, 1927? Are we?
Absolutely. I'll even take Jim Edmonds and Albert Pujols 04.
Wow.
Jim Edmonds wasn't even the second best on that team. Oh, really? You put Jim Edmonds up there?
No, I didn't. I just have a list. I just have a list here of teammates with 40 home runs and 600 slugging percent.
I would just rather have those.
So I'm just trying to give you a perspective of guys in history that have fallen on this list with these two guys. As we look at Soto and Judge, kind of moving forward here, Logan, These are some guys that kind of fell in that category. I'm with you in the sense of I had Ortiz and Ramirez in just my mind of who I thought of. That was kind of like the first name I had on my list here. The other one was it's not on here, but because I obviously didn't finish here was Canseco, McGuire, and Bonds and Kent because they both finished kind of close to top of MVP categories as well. What do you kind of make of like this list, Logan, when you first see it compared to Judge and Soto there?
I mean, yeah, it's kind of interesting. The two names that popped up were Mickey and Roger Maris, and obviously, like Mickey Mantle, it just reminded me of. It kind of gave me Mickey Mantle vibes. Not in the speed or anything, but just because of his eyes and his just raw power that he had. Where Soto, he does not have the prettiest swing sometimes, where he'll hit a ball and it looks like it's a fly ball like to shallow left field, but it just keeps traveling.
Yeah,
I feel like that's kind of how Mantle was. And then Roger Maris obviously hitting 62 or 61, and I mean that's kind of Aaron Judge right there. I don't see all time best, but I mean
I don't
it's
know,
really,
man. I think there's a case.
yeah. I mean it's really it's really hard to see two guys who are number 1 and 2 in MVP voting, and they are just so dominant in those categories. I mean, Soto is miles behind Judge, but Soto is still. I mean, any other year, if this was the NL and Ohtani wasn't alive, I mean, he's the clear MVP of the NL.
And all he does is hit.
Edward, do you look at these stats here? I mean, like the crazy thing when you look at Soto and Judge next together is like, right, Soto bats in front of him, right? So like obviously for Judge to have success, he's gonna need somebody to get on base a lot. And as Logan still loves, Soto's able to get there based on his OPS there, but it's crazy Judge has an even higher OPS. Which is kind of nuts to me when I looked at these stats right away. I was like, the home runs, it is what it is, and the RBIs, it is what it is. But the OPS, just given Soto's, I don't know, necessary reputation, it's still impressive. And the season he's having that Judge is ahead of him. And then you look at the slugging percentage, and you're just like, this guy's on a different level this year. I mean, Aaron Judge is magical. Josh Edwards, magic. I know you have a hard time saying that, but he's awesome.
I mean, look at him. If he's anything but awesome, he's a disappointment.
There's been plenty of big players that are not good.
No, he is not just big. Do not
Chris
make me
Carter is
over
not
this guy
good
at all. This guy is a massive human specimen,
which is hard in baseball.
That God touched with his hand and gave him the gift to be a phenomenal athlete. So I know what he is. I get it. But I expect greatness out of him because of what he is. If he's having great seasons, like I am entertained.
I think you're underappreciating him very much. I mean, This guy is a stud. This is like one of the best players in probably in your lifetime. Based on our trivia, this guy's got to be one of the best players that you could remember of all time. Like when he comes up to bat, he is must watch, sir. I mean, this guy is hitting things out of the plate, inside, outside, above, low. I mean, this guy is on absolute fire. I don't know. I mean, you've been my co-host for a long time, but this one, me and you are going to disagree on a high level. This guy is a stud.
I'm not saying he's not. He's lived up to the hype. He has not done anything for me that they didn't say he could do. When he hits 75 in a season, I will give him the kind of praise you give him because that to me would be impressive. Even if he hits 70 in a season, I'll give him praise because that's impressive.
Barry Bonds hit 73 and he was roided out of his mind.
Right. I understand that.
Judge to hit 75 and then you'll give him
He does play at
here's the difference.
That does help a little.
That helps a lot. That's one. Two, the lineup he's in. And
the lineup.
Bonds was old when he did it. And he's young and doing it all natural. McGuire's the same thing. Sosa's the same thing too.
We got to go back to the lineup you said. Let's go there, Logan.
Are you talking about
Volpe got ripped on by Mr. What was it, your boys? John Boy there with it. And then you have Stanton, who did go back to back in electric fashion this weekend, like we mentioned before. But why don't you touch on that, sir?
Oh, me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, so John Boy has a weekly segment with.
I forgot to watch it.
Oh, you did? Oh my gosh!
Well,
It's
I'll do
almost-
live react.
Did
Sorry.
you ever
I
mention that
apologize.
name in here?
There-
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I think there's a short video that I sent to you guys, but
Yeah,
anyways,
you did.
don't watch the 18-minute one.
No, that's not short. We got
But,
the one.
Yeah, so Aaron Boone has his weekly segment on Talking Yanks with Jimmy O'Brien and Jake Storiali, and Jim and Jake kind of called him out on, Volpe having a underperforming this year. He's done really horrible since the All-Star break. A lot of the team has done horrible since the All-Star break, and basically Boone just kind of went off, and it was kind of interesting in multiple ways. It was interesting just because, I mean, you don't really see hosts of shows calling out managers, and as Yankees fans,
they used to 30 years ago. They don't anymore.
yeah, well, yeah, and Yankees fans, I mean, that's something that they need is like, if you're gonna kiss butt, then that's not gonna fly with Yankee fans, and so them calling out Aaron Boone, who they've paid to be on there, is just kind of interesting in so many ways. Because like Josh and I, as Cardinal fans, if we had Ollie Marmol on or on a show, and then we were interviewing and we called him out, I mean, that would have been. I mean, we would love to do that. Honestly,
Cubs fan. I thought you were a Cubs fan, but it's all right. We'll go back on that.
Yeah, I know. That's all you've been telling us for the last 2 months. You're a Cubs fan. You love the Cubs. The Cubs are your team now. You hate the Cardinals. You wish the whole organization would burn to the ground.
The Cardinals second.
We're not getting on Cardinals yet.
So you're not with me anymore, man. You don't get to rep this anymore. You're gone.
Hold on. I have Cardinals in the segment. Save that energy,
You've turned
fellas.
against
Save
your
that
home.
energy. I hope Judge breaks Bond's home run season so we can talk about it again. It just never brought it up because of the stain of steroids. I will say this to you, traveling game board neighbor. Get every steroid guy in the freaking Hall of Fame. And you know why? Because Bud freaking Selig is in the Hall of Fame. And if you're the commissioner that oversees the steroid era and somehow you were in the Hall of Fame, I don't care if you own the Brewers how many championships they win? I forgot. 0. Then you don't get into the Hall of Fame and then not let these other guys in. When you oversaw it, you benefited from it. To me, it just doesn't make sense to me. So that's where I stand with that. Is if he's in, you get everybody and their mother in. That's how kind of how I feel at this point with it when it comes to those two. But if I want to go, can I go to Soto Judge on this standpoint here? Is as we kind of move on from it, is like I have their stats here. Like these are just insane. Like this is Logan. This alone is going to make them the most dangerous lineup come the postseason. These guys at very least will walk and they'll be on base. You know what I mean? So, and then you look at these all-time numbers. I mean, these are the Albert Pujols Jim Edmonds one in 2004. You guys are Cardinals fans. I know it's 20 years ago, but does that stand out to you at all?
Well, I mean,
do you remember it, Edwards? That was kind of a little before. I feel like you said you started watching. Do you remember that still?
Well, I mean, Cardinals. I watched Cardinals ever since I was little. Like that I can remember. It's all the other baseball knowledge you have that I don't, because I didn't pay attention to anything but the Cardinals as a child.
Read a newspaper.
I did. I just looked at the box scores. I didn't read anything else. I always knew where I was at. I just didn't know who they had until we played them.
Yeah, that's right.
I knew my divisions really well.
That's
my division.
Well, 2 of your guys are in this division. You also have Bagwell and Hidalgo, which is kind of my favorite one in there.
Hidalgo, I don't remember as well. Bagwell, I do. Obviously, I remember Ortiz and Ramirez in 04 too. So, no, Jim was electric that year, and Albert was on his rise. I mean, he had made a statement. People knew who he was at this point. I mean, he was on the cover of Triple Play Baseball, I think, for 2005. So, I mean, he was on his rise. He was coming up through the ranks, and everybody knew what he was. So, no, that was one of the Cardinals' best seasons in the last years. They were lightning, and they ran into Boston, and Boston broke the curse. So,
what do you think there, Logan?
Yeah, I mean, as a kid, I wasn't really watching all the games, but I mean, I remember hearing the Jim Edmonds, Albert Pujols, and Scott Rowland just being the most dominant trio and duo.
The
Even.
MV3.
Yeah, like just being amazing in that year and like just one of the best teams ever and one of the best duos ever. And yeah, that was just an amazing time right there. And so yeah, I mean I think because the Yankees are not that great this year. I mean
I mean,
they
what do you
started off
mean?
really great, but the Yankees themselves have kind of fallen off
Yeah, the
outside
pitching
of that.
alone leaves a lot to
Yeah.
be desired.
Yeah, and so I think because the Yankees are not, just the dominant force like the 2004 Cardinals, the 2004 Red Sox to a certain extent, and all these other teams, I think that's why they're not getting all this recognition as the best duo. Even though I think you've kind of made a case that it should be considered at least top five duos.
Oh yeah,
And
absolutely.
I mean, if you look at the on base percentage, uh,
It's
Juan
insane.
Soto,
Look at that. That's
Juan,
ridiculous.
Juan Soto has a 421, and then Judge has a 461
Yeah, it's
or
stupid.
467, and Juan Soto is always having a 400 season on base percentage, and then to have someone beat him like that, that's what Juan Soto is known for. He's known for his walks, and
It
it's just
look. Can I ask you
amazing.
this real quick? Is Aaron
Yeah,
Judge the best play? Is it like some people are like, well, he's better than Trout. Like there is this short term stuff, and like so
yeah,
the next 2 years will be big for him if he can sustain. Like he has to get 30 home runs the next 2 seasons. How I see it, kind of in my
yeah.
mind. Like I I just want to get your perspective as somebody that kind of you watch the Yankees a little bit too, and I do as well. Like, what do you kind of make as Judge? Like, just him. I mean, these back if he gets back to back 60 home run seasons, I mean, we're talking about legendary stuff that we've seen in our lifetime.
I
I'm just
mean,
saying that's what we're seeing.
it's weird to think, yeah, because I was thinking about this a couple weeks ago, like, because you always hear those people saying like, Judge is the better player over Otani, and I'm like, Otani is just different. And then I kept on looking at the numbers, and I'm like, Otani, he's doing really well, and I guess it's all in the eye of the beholder. But man, Judge just being able to give you the opportunity of 50 plus home runs in a year, over 100 RBI, all this consistency when he's healthy. I mean, and it's not like he has like these horrible spouts where he's just like dead for a month and then all of a sudden he's red hot and then he's dead for another month. Not
No,
that Otani has that. And so I think that kind of goes into it. Like, yeah, Judge is really making a statement that he deserves to be in the conversation for best player in MLB right now.
Josh Edwards, go to work. What do you got?
I mean, how do I follow that? Like, what do you want me to say?
Exactly. What do you got? You ripped on him a little bit. So what do you got? I feel like Logan made a good statement there with
Here,
Judge.
1 second before you comment. So it's interesting to me. 2022, he hit 62 home runs, and then last year he hit, I think, 39. So in the span of 2 years, he hit 99 home runs. 99 home runs in 2 years. That's pretty impressive, I think. And I get like we had Mark McGuire who did that, and Barry Bonds who did that, but those guys were on steroids, and while I'm okay with them being on steroids, they were still on steroids, and they had some performance enhancements.
But don't you always feel like these older guys? That's where I'm always like, I'm sorry, and this is where I just feel like there's different rules back then too.
No, I
And
get it. Yeah, yeah,
I get that's I'm just saying that
yeah,
we watched the Willie Mays documentary. I mean, together we
yeah.
saw some of that. So I'm just saying, you know what I mean?
No,
Like,
yeah. No, my point was more like to see someone do it cleanly, like without like just natural power, is just
yeah, I get you.
it's so interesting to me. And so yeah, and like I think Barry Bonds is one of the best players still, and Mark McGuire is, he's okay.
He's a beast still. It's a home run
Yeah.
hitter. as
But
a home
anyways,
run.
I mean, he was a pure hitter.
I mean, all right. So before we move on to Ohtani here, like my last thing will be this: is like we're watching as we want to say. I think Soto will end up signing with the Yankees. I think that's where he'll end up signing. I think that's the only spot for him to go. But he'll get the most money there. I mean, unless the Dodgers surprise me or the Mets just come out of the world and surprise me. Like I feel like that's where he'll go. We're looking at guys for the next 3 to 4 hitters, probably the best professional hitters in baseball on the same team. And I know that sounds the same. You can say Body Whip's more explosive. You can give me all these guys in the world that are more explosive, but we're talking the most professional hitters in baseball on the same team. Like, and that's what I mean. Like they will get on base, they will hit home runs, and they will get RBIs when it matters. So the Yankees have to sign this guy at every level possible. That there is no way they cannot sign these guys. That's kind of how I feel about it. Any final thoughts, guys?
I think,
I
go ahead.
no, you sir first.
No, yeah, I was just gonna say, I think it is one of the only times where it's like a necessity to re-sign a player. And the more I think about it, the more I think it's gonna have to be a more Otani-like deal. I think Soto is gonna say, "Hey, I want to win. I love the Yankees. I understand they can't pay me $55 million a year." Because still compete because they need to get other pieces. So I'll take 10 million a year for 15 years, and then back however they need to rework it after he retires. I think that's the need right there. And so I think it's just needed for Yankees fans. I think it's needed for the Yankees because they need to go back to King George.
Oh, I like when you always mention King George. Edwards, final thoughts there with it.
If the Yankees don't find a way to make it work, they're absolute fools. I could see LA going and saying, "Hey, we're going to give Soto 10 years and $600 million, and here you go." I mean, I think the Dodgers would totally do it, and they would be set, like super set.
Only 10?
I mean, how old is he now?
25?
Yeah, 10. I don't
There
need
you
him
go.
from 36 on.
Speaking of the
I'll
Dodgers,
have somebody younger and cheaper I can deal with at that point.
you'll definitely have somebody younger and cheaper that you deal with at that point. There's no,
Yeah,
no doubt of that. What do you guys think of Ohtani right now? Let's start with you, Edwards, in the sense of, I mean, we've talked about him quite a bit on this show. We've talked about, but we haven't. I feel like we've kind of waited on him a little bit just because we want to make sure. There's so much of him we're going to get to later in the year. This is where we're at later in the year. 42-42. Is this guy going to, I mean, before September, he got 44 in a dog trained in 3 weeks to throw a ball out to him by bringing it to the mound. This is an impressive human being. I have a dog that I got 4 months ago, and you guess what I've trained him to do? Only eat my kids' socks and almost die. That's what I've almost accomplished here. Like, they have done nothing. So the fact that this guy's been able to do that, get involved and ready to the first pitch, that is impressive in itself. And he can go 40-40. Edwards, is he going to be the first man to go 50-50 in Major League Baseball?
If he doesn't, we'll all be disappointed because he's got so much time left to get 8 of each. I mean, let's be honest. Shohei Ohtani's only thing he's working on this year is getting the shoulder healthy and smoking the baseball out of the diamond and everywhere across the diamond whenever he gets an opportunity.
Is he getting 50-50?
If he doesn't, I'll say he was a waste of money this year.
Oh my good Lord. Oh my gosh.
At least I'm consistent. I carry a consistent standard.
Oh my God.
This is Jimmy Pilato-esque. There we go.
But I mean, he is unreal. Like, I never thought I'd see anybody have an opportunity to go 50 for 50 or 50 and 50. So, I mean, I'm all for it, man. I want to see it.
Well,
like, I will be
sound like
super
you
upset.
do. You don't sound like you want to see it. You sound like it's an excuse why you got it.
It'll be real history, but that's all he had to focus on was this year. So, I mean, we'll see if he can do this again next year when he's back to pitching. And I'm still curious to see how his shoulder heals. And I'm assuming because of the kind of guy he seems to be, the shoulder's going to be perfectly fine and he will not miss a beat come May. But I want to see him do it. I just,
Logan, you're the guest here. I feel like I'm just going to let you go here for a second. You guys have been on the show before together. Here you go. You go.
Yeah. 50-50 being expected when no one else has done that before.
Yep.
I'm going to actually one-up you. If he doesn't go 70-70, I'm going to be really disappointed. He's not worth the $2 million he's getting paid. I mean, good Lord, what a jump.
He decided to take his contract that way, and that was his choice, and it was absolutely geniusly smart. But if you're going to pay guys $500 million plus, I expect them to do things I have never seen and plan on never seeing again.
He did it. He trained a dog in 3 weeks. I mean, what else are you asking?
I don't hear about him training the dog.
My God.
I'm sure he wasn't the only one training the dog.
I almost killed the dog. I almost killed the dog in 3 weeks. I'm surprised he kept him alive.
I'm sure he's in the ballpark 7 to 10 days, 7 to 10 hours a day.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, 4 to 6. I don't know.
No,
again, you set the bar.
Gosh, he's a beast.
I agree. I agree with you. And if he wasn't getting paid what he gets,
you said you expect it, and he should do it.
He should. Yes, I expect it. And
do
again, this is
why he and I fought so much.
Yes, now I understand all this thing that way.
It's only taking you 2 years.
But you guys aren't listening to what I'm saying.
Goddamn fantasy.
If you're going to pay them this much money, they need to do. I've never seen anybody pay this kind of money. I expect them to do things I've never seen. That's why my stance is my stance. What they're doing is amazing. I'm not impressed yet.
So
this will be impressive.
If he wins the World Series, he gets 50-50. You can't complain from that at this point on, then, could you?
No.
Oh, I'm sure he'll find a way.
I'll find something because he's going to have to carry that for at least 5 to 7 years for me to say the paycheck he received was worth it.
I think he's making up for it this year. Logan. He had people showing 8 hours before for a bobblehead day there. So
absolutely ridiculous.
I was going to say they came for his bobblehead and were wrapping around Dodger Stadium 3 times. You can never get Dodgers fans to come on time to a game. Like it's impossible.
It's insane. It's sickness.
The money he is making, the Dodgers right now has already surpassed what.
I mean, Logan, you're like me. If they're on at night, are you kind of maybe thinking about tuning into their game? If they're on, like I know you're on 2 hours ahead of me.
Yeah,
and I think you have the MLB app. But like based on that, are you like kind of like I'll kind of see how they do.
I turn it on unless it's just like
what was it? Orioles Dodgers last week.
Rockies or something. I'm like I don't care.
Yeah, but Orioles Dodgers has been like that's got to be something that's paying your attention. Right now, actually, it's 0-0 top of the second right now. As we kind of get into it, I just think this is it. Kind of makes that's why this pod, like Brandon was like, well, what are we gonna talk? I'm like, I don't care. It's star-studded tonight. This is what I want to talk about. Ohtani, Soto, and Judge. These are the guys that right now have my attention. Like I'm tuning in at this point of the year every time they're at bat right now. So the fact that he's 42, and I think he gets 50-50. Logan, do you think he gets it?
I think he gets close. I think he's going to hit like 49 home runs.
He's getting it.
And I think 49 and 54 or something.
I think it's 50-51. I think it's like 50 home runs, 51 stolen bases. That's where I think he's at.
Yeah, I mean he's gonna. I think he gets close, and he may surpass it. But yeah, I don't know.
What do you think of my buddy Tyler saying that there's going to be other guys like this in the future? We're going to talk. I'm going to just murder him on Sunday about it, but Monday night. But what do you guys think of like that part of it when he says 101? Like I don't think there's ever going to be a guy like him until 100 years from now. Like it's not going to happen in our lifetime. It's not going to happen in my kid's lifetime. It's going to be after that. There's no way a guy like him comes along again.
Ohtani?
Yeah.
No
way.
Why not?
No chance.
Why not?
Why not? Because history tells me why not.
Okay, well, hold on.
Yeah.
We haven't I would say people from millennials, Gen Zers, and Gen X had never seen anybody like this either.
Oh, exactly. That's my point.
Yeah,
Is like so unless you're born in Babe Ruth era,
We're
these
due.
guys did stuff
No,
like
what I'm
that.
saying is we're due. We're due to have 2, 3, 4 of these guys come along all at the same time, like it was in the 30s and the 40s.
I don't even think there'll be a guy that ever makes the All-Star game that does both.
I mean,
I think it's going to be the next big thing. I think kids are going to
Who's
start
gonna-
learning how to bat and pitch and
see,
be
look, Tyler
Shohei
on-
Ohtani. He's
Damn,
going
I
to.
mean,
Damn.
Are you telling me that he's not going to set some kind of trend for the kids to try to be just like him? He's going to be all these kids' idols. So how are you?
No, I
saying we're
don't
not
think
gonna-
that. I don't think that.
Okay.
I think.
All right.
I mean, Mason Wynn was supposed to be the next Shohei Ohtani that the Cardinals were touting,
And then they took him out of pitching and they made him
took
just
him out
a
of pitching
shortstop.
because he just. I mean, it's hard to do both, and I kind of wanted to touch on, like, this is the first season in a couple years that he hasn't pitched, and he's on pace to hit 50-50. Do we consider putting him in more of a reliever closer role instead
That's
of
what I
starting?
was thinking from 2 years ago.
And yeah,
Make
For the
him
money you're
close.
paying him, you're going to pay him to relieve or close?
If you're hitting 35 bombs and hitting 120 RBIs, and you can close out 35 games for me, damn straight I'm putting you at the closer.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, what are you talking
For
about?
$700 million.
Yeah, for $1 billion. I mean, what doesn't matter what we're doing? I'm putting him at it like that. It doesn't matter at this point. He is a stud, Josh.
And
He's a
and he can-
stud. He's the
can
best
still
player we've ever
insane.
seen.
he can still
Outside
play
of
the
Bonds.
field if he needed to. I mean, they're saying that they want him to play the field some next year. So, I mean,
See, there's no way I'd let him do that. No way.
I would just want him pitching and hitting. That's what I
And
want.
yeah, that's all I'm letting this guy do. I'm paying him $700 million. I
Training
don't
dog.
ever want him to
Training
miss
dog.
another game again.
yeah.
Ever.
Trading Mr.
I mean-
Decoy.
And I mean, thinking about it, I mean, he's not really, I mean, he's not the greatest pitcher, right? I mean,
No, but he's been in the Cy Young conversation.
Yep.
has he?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
He is-
Maybe it's been a while
dude,
since
okay.
I've looked at his
He's
page.
He
a
is a
stud.
phenom.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You're not going to get this. Like
Yeah.
that's why I
Actual
said you said
generational
it.
talent.
He's
more
a
so than
101,
Soto.
and for you to
More
say
so
we're going
than
to get
Judge.
this many years ago is what blows my mind.
Yeah.
Tyler said
I-
the same thing. He did a
I think
show on
even, I think Babe Ruth wasn't even kind of, I don't think Babe Ruth was even this level of anything.
17
I
when
mean-
the competition wasn't the same. Yeah, I'd say.
Well, yeah, the competition, all that stuff. I mean, he didn't have people throwing 103, but
People didn't have the movement they have now.
I think it's going to be a lot of people trying to duplicate Ohtani. But I think one thing that's going to hurt it all is going to be, and it's kind of funny, Tommy John surgery. I think Tommy John is going to screw up so many kids who are wanting to pitch and hit, and they're not going to be able to rest their arms like they need to, and they're going to be pushed to throw, 110 miles an hour next year, and they're trying to become the best of both because that's what Shohei is. I mean, yeah, he's an anomaly. He's a freak of nature. And it just doesn't work for everyone. And
No, he's
I
a
think
101.
yeah, it's just I think you're right. I don't think we're going to see anyone this generation.
He grew up in a different country too. I mean, I feel like
Yeah.
people don't underestimate that. Like Jokic is like I always say them by basketball. Like Jokic is because he grew up and where he grew up. Like Giannis grew up. He is who he is because it makes a difference. Like America, people grow up with more expectations, with more. They have more things at their display. Most of us, like what I mean, they get to that level. Like these guys aren't used to that stuff like hardcorely in their first like 14 years. Like so, it's a little different. And I don't know. So Logan, I'm going to get to you this real quick here with it. And I want just a couple minutes. I want to give you a couple minutes on this. Should MLB change what Triple Crown is? Like, right now it's lead the league in home runs, RBIs, and average. What's your kind of thing to me and Edwards as you were kind of talking about this week?
So I kind of have a thing against, and I don't want to make the Triple Crown easier to obtain. I don't want that at all. That would be horrible for the game because I don't need 10 Triple Crown winners in the next 5 years or whatever. But I would think that because it was created in the 1910s or something, they used the stats or the whatever you want to call it that they had at the time. So RBIs, home runs, and average. I think home runs should stay. I think home runs is cool. RBIs, I would want to replace just because RBIs, you can't control who's on base whenever you get on, right? It's like win losses. You can't control, you throw 6 innings and you have no one on base.
All right, I'm listening. I'm listening.
And so like the the RBIs, I think, if you hit 60 home runs and only have 70 RBIs, is that on you? No, I don't think that's really on you. I think that that's becomes more of the team thing. That becomes that becomes more of a team problem instead of your problem. And so I would say, replace RBIs with OPS. And then our average can go burn in a hole maliciously. And
OPS would really be your third thing, though. Not runs, even.
No, not runs. I think
if you're on base, that doesn't matter. Or you're saying, it depends if the guy bats you in.
Well,
I'm just trying to be devil's advocate here.
I just think if like Aaron Judge was a candidate for Triple Crown and he had RBI, he was on base and then someone hit him in, like that doesn't really mean anything to me. But I mean, that's kind of how players used to be. I think the 3 should be home runs, OPS, and then WRC plus.
Edwards?
No.
Maybe stolen bases.
Triple Crown for a reason. Make a whole new award. Don't change something that's been around forever. You guys want to change everything. You guys want to change the whole damn sport. I'll go away. I liked the game the way it was.
You're already cooking barbecue this weekend for the wrong sport. So yeah.
That's part of the problem. No, it's that my team's
You're in the middle of drafting.
Although they did just split
class.
with.
I don't want to hear
that's over. That's over. It's done. It's been done for 20 minutes.
Go ahead.
You guys both know me well enough to know I don't like all the changes. I've accepted some of them. I'm dealing with some of them. And I quietly curse a couple of the other ones every time it comes up. You don't go change there's no reason to change the awards. It's the Triple Crown. It's been the Triple Crown for over 100 years. Leave it. You youngins always got to go and try to make things better. And half the time you guys try to make things better, you make it worse.
I think he's talking about you, Daren.
I'm 40. I'm a man. What do you think? I'm a man. Come after me. No, I kind of disagree with you, Logan, on this. I think it should stay how it is. This is one where I'm with Edwards on this. If there was only one stat I would try, it'd be runs. Like if you wanted to say, hey, get one of these 3, you can put runs on there. I'd be like, I want the 5 main categories for this stat. Like I almost think it like that's how I look at it. So because there's so little guys that do it. That's what makes it special. That's how you know it's hard to. That's how you know it's hard to do. So for me, I hear you on that, but I kind of always appreciate your mind, kind of looking forward to those things, like because I don't always think ahead like that with baseball as much as you do, and I don't know. I enjoy that kind of like thought process because I love the game. I'm obsessed with it. So when you come at me with that, I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of curious what he's thinking there with it, and I agree with you. OPS is important now. Yeah. So like, or something like that. So like, I'm with you. WAR maybe is like, to me, be curious if they had like an MLB Triple Crown Analytics Award, like WAR.
You can't use
WAR. OPS Plus is like Analytics Award, Logan Triple Crown. It'd be like the
New Age Triple Crown, and you can put his crap in it because it can have a stupid name. Because it's a stupid idea to change the award. So make it its own award.
We'll call it
award.
The
give it some
award.
Dumb name, and
they need. This is the truth, though. And first, I shouldn't take too much credit on this. I saw this a couple months ago, and I thought, oh, yeah, that's kind of like what the Triple Crown should be now. Because, I mean, we've advanced, not just analytically, but anyways.
Oh, absolutely.
But average is going to die. I mean,
yeah, but I think that's why it's still important, though.
It's super important.
Like, if you're a power hitter that can hit for average, to me, that's what makes the difference.
Yeah, but you don't.
That's why Judge is so special.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, yeah, he compliments the
That's why
old.
Bonds was special. That's why those guys are special that do that. Cabrera, like they hit for average and power. To me, that's makes a different.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
but I think there are so many ways to gauge a player. I mean, batting average, I mean, he gets a hit 24% of the time. But like on base percentage, I think he gets on base more often. I think that's more important
But could he do it
than
every year? Could he do it for 1 year, Logan? That's what makes it special.
but like in OPS, I think on base percentage, I mean, it gauges what kind of hits you're getting. Like
True.
it
I'll
says
give
a
you that.
single batting average says a single is the same as a home run.
So do you
That's
think a single is more powerful than a double? Or do you think a
what
double is more powerful than a single? If you get, let's say you get, 20 singles and you get 10 doubles, what one do you want more?
yeah, it's a conversation. I mean it still
I
helps
guess
your
that's my point. Is like, you know what I mean? Is like
yeah.
that's why I think the three are perfect. I'm just arguing as
No,
we're
I get it.
talking here.
No, I get
Yeah.
it.
Can I explain why average still matters
You have a Missouri hat, of course.
statistically,
Yeah.
or using a reference point at least?
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to list these teams. These are the teams in the MLB ranked in batting average. This is 30th through 20th. Tell me how many are playoff teams. Seattle, the White Sox,
Definitely
Tampa,
not. No.
the Angels,
Nope.
the A's,
Maybe.
the Reds,
Nope.
the Tigers, the
Nope.
Bucks,
Nope.
the Guardians,
Yes.
the Rangers,
Nope.
Cubs.
One team. Maybe the A's
Okay.
second. That's it.
Hold
Cubs
on.
are
But
Here's
the
1 through
A's.
10. Here's 1 through 10. Tell me how many of these teams are eligible or playoff in the playoff hunt.
we
San
said
Diego, Houston,
yes.
Arizona,
Yes.
Boston,
Yes. No.
Philly,
Yes.
Kansas City,
Yes.
Minnesota,
Yep.
Milwaukee,
Yep.
Baltimore,
Yep.
the Dodgers.
Yep.
Let me give you 2 more bonus ones. The Yankees,
Yep.
the Mets.
Maybe not. But
The
I
St.
agree
Louis,
with that.
the St. Louis Cardinals are 13th in batting average as a team, and they're still one of the worst teams.
Oh,
They-
yeah. I think we're
It
gonna.
doesn't correlate. You had to get to 13 before you had found a team that
The
was
average
legit out of the
matters.
playoffs.
I agree with you. I
Average
think
matters. Average is
Well,
important. That's why it
well-
should stay in the Triple Crown.
I agree.
Here, let me combat that with you then. 30 on base percentage. 30 Chicago, Marlins 29, Tigers, Mariners, Angels, Pirates, Athletics, Reds, Rays, Rangers, Rockies.
All the same teams, right?
Braves are number 19.
They're all the
And
same
then-
team.
Braves are
But,
16 on my list.
Okay, but look at this is the difference. Okay, so that was the top 20 or the bottom 20, I should say, in on base percentage. Number 19, Braves, Guardians, Giants, Cardinals. Let's see. There's Nationals at 15 for some reason, and then Toronto at 14, and then Royals and Chicago at from 19 to 12. Those teams are, I mean, I could argue that those teams are kind of in the hunt, but they're not really that great.
No,
They're
they're
not
not
going to
that.
win a World Series. The top 10, I could argue, are if I can pull up my thing, there it is. Top 10 are Yankees, Diamondbacks, Brewers, Dodgers, Phillies, Padres, Red Sox, and then you have Twins, Astros, and Orioles. And the Mets are in there. And so those
The
teams
Mets
are
are an
more.
interesting case there.
So all the same teams.
That's what I'm saying. It's all the same. I think OPS and average are kind of crossing.
No reason to change it.
That's what I'm
It ain't
Brandon
broke, don't fix it.
Edwards. When Brandon always says, "Like, hey, Daren, what do you want?" I go, "If you put OPS in, you don't have to necessarily put average in all the time." But I'm always thinking through like when he says that stuff. All right, guys, I want to keep the show moving there. Standings check. Royals really pushing Cleveland, and then you got the Yankees as well with the Orioles. What do you guys kind of make of like kind of maybe these like real to me like some of the best ones here? And like let's start with this one. We start with the Yankees. We said it when we started the show together here. Like Logan, you've been on with it enough. We're like, well, it's gonna come down to the final month. Well, guess what? We're August 29th. It's here we are, final month. let's actually have a fun conversation. This is not April when we're talking about it. Gentlemen, here it is. Money on the line. Yankees, Orioles. Logan Stone, who are you taking to win this division?
We know
Yankees.
who he's taking.
He might, but he might change it.
Yankees. I think the Orioles have hit a stump too, and I don't think they're. I think they've got a little bit more of a hole than the Yankees do.
All right. What do you think? What do you think there, Josh?
He says Yankees. I'm going to laugh.
He's taking a deep breath there. Is it the Rays? Are they going
He
to
did.
come back? Hey, Josh, you got to give me this. I was right about the Rays, at least this year.
I mean, they're the third best team in the NL East or the AL East.
Fourth best team.
Oh, fourth. Sorry, Boston's ahead of them.
And I said they would suffer. That's what I said this year.
Yeah.
But whatever.
They're still around 500 though.
Who do you got? Yankees, Orioles?
I want to say the Yankees because I think on paper they're better. And I think right now they've got their mojo going on.
Who do you think on paper? Judge and Soto's got to be the paper.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. I think Baltimore's pitching's a little bit better, but not enough better to get through the Yankee lineup.
What do you think, Logan Stone? Yankees, Orioles. Who are you taking to finish this? The Yankees have the 1-game lead right now.
Yeah,
we're getting close to September 1st. Who do you got?
Yeah, I think it's Yankees just because they have Judge and Soto at the moment. Adley's not really living up to Adley Rushman type, and yeah, I mean Anthony Tandar and Gunnar Henderson are great, but I don't think they can catch up, honestly. And that's weird to say with one game, but still.
It'll be very interesting where these guys they end up playing the Yankees. Their last series against them is the 24th, 25th, and 26th at New York. That's the series before their weekend series, and they finish up against the Twins and Minnesota in September. So it'll be very interesting how that series goes. That 3 games, let's say it's a 1-game series, that's as good as it gets, right? For a 3-game series there with it. And I still think the division matters. At least for me, it mentally matters a little bit. You can cry about the wild card and stuff all you want, but this is as good as it gets. AL Central, Josh, we get 100 votes on it last week. I was so impressed with it. We got 100 votes. What we get? 81% voted the Royals will win this division. When we got it, I sent it out three days ago, I believe it was. The Guardians got only 1% more than the Twins, believe it or not, to win the division as well. The Guardians come back in a huge victory the other day to get the W.
The Guardians didn't come back. The Royals the Royals manager handed that game over.
Well, however you want to look at it, they had to score more wins to win. And now they have a 1-game lead over the Royals again that we're drawing national attention for coming on. The Royals still having a great season. Who wins this AL Central? What do you got, Edwards? We'll go with you first.
Royals.
Stone?
I don't know. It's like who's gonna win last place in the playoffs? So it's like, who cares?
It's a big division. Come on. For the Royals, it means more probably.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the Guardians, they just have something. I
believe in Stephen Vogt. I believe in Stephen Vogt.
Yeah, Stephen Vogt. But I think outside of Bobby Witt, you really just don't have much going on in the Royals organization.
Vinny's been okay this year, though.
Vinny Pascalino, Salvador Perez. I mean, you got good pitching out there. I mean,
I mean, they're coming on strong. Edwards is making a good case right now.
Yeah, no, I get it. I don't
think you just don't see them enough, so you don't know.
Their bullpen's pretty good. They got the guy from the A's there. Closed the game the other day.
And Paul DeYoung's been fire for them.
Are you guys disappointed in the Guardians though, or do you think this is kind of where it all kind of evened out a little bit?
I'm not disappointed in the Guardians. I mean,
but I'm saying you think it's evening out. I'm guessing. That's what I'm saying.
It's plateaued, and they are what they are, and we know what they are now. And they're much better than we anticipated.
But they've been one of the better teams in 1-run games, and they have an AL Cy Young contender. And I'm going to go with the Guardians to win this division still.
They did
That's
it without Tristan McKenzie and Shane Bieber, so that's pretty impressive.
Edwards has Royals. I have Guardians. Who did you have again, Logan?
I have Guardians.
All right, so me and you
No,
teaming up.
I think the White Sox come back and win 47 straight games.
I don't know about that.
There's not that many left.
I think they've already been eliminated. I think they were the first team in
Yeah.
history to be eliminated early in a game with it. I think this was the catch, actually, that eliminated him. So let's get that on the screen here real quick.
All right, the 1-2.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it was your boy, too.
Left field. That's
Who won? Oh, yeah.
This was sick.
Back. And a rising catch. Oh, my goodness, what a grab.
We got placed on waivers right after
He
that.
brings the game back.
Shaky.
Son of a biatch. That's I'm always frustrated by that one because obviously that's the guy I got to coach in Little League. Is Andrew
I
Vaughn.
thought that was him.
And then it was him. And then Sebastian Janikowski, the kicker for the Raiders, robs the home run. I can't believe he ends up robbing it. So shout out fantasy football kickers. That's what you got there as well. So you have that with it, Logan. I like that. So me and you, Guardians. Josh Edwards, Royals. We'll see you in late September, ladies. We'll see you where we got you there.
Hey, I am consistent. I'm sticking with who I picked at the beginning of the year.
That I do give you with that. You always do, at least. Yeah, you definitely stick with that. All right, let's get with it. All right, it's Diamond Notes version here right there. We got a lot of stuff that we're going to get into with it as well. Diamond Notes, gentlemen, this is where we can take it in any version we want to go with big stuff around the MLB. Variety Sports Network. If you're tuning in here around the 55-minute mark, I got Logan Stone, Josh Edwards with me. We got a month left of baseball. Let's go to work, ladies and gentlemen. Our Diamond Notes here at it. Is moving O'Neal Cruz to center field the right move? Red Sox, Jared Daren with maybe the funniest stat I've ever heard of all time. Is the first player since 1901 to go 40 doubles, 10 triples, 20 home runs, and 30 stolen bases. Just a baseball oldie stat you get along the way.
He got so mad at
that. And then you got the Yankees with this crazy double play that I'll get on the screen here in a little bit. I also got the stick one at the bottom with Jesus Sanchez. He gets I'm going to put that on the screen as well, where he gets thrown out, Logan. He gets up going to first base on an intentional walk, right? So the umpire says, okay, the other team says 4 bases, and you don't have to throw anymore. But he doesn't touch first base by the time they sub him out, and he gets thrown out at first base. To me, that was a crazy thing from the week as well that I saw. And then we got Babe Ruth's 19 call the shot jersey home run sells for like $25 million as well. So I got some funny ones at the bottom as well, but I also have some here on the screen. Any Diamond Notes? Doesn't have to even be these. Some kind of crazy things stand out from you, Logan, this week?
So the Marlins, who was it? Jesus
Sanchez.
What's his name? Oh,
Jesus Sanchez.
Yeah, Jesus Sanchez. Yeah. So that play, or him not touching first base after the intentional walk, and then that White Sox, I can't remember who was playing second when he got hit in the nose.
Yep.
That inning.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Anyways, so
I'll get it on the screen here.
Yeah. So to me, I think it's I said something whenever I saw the White Sox play, and they're connected in the same way. But it's like, that he could have been carried off on a stretcher, and I think it would have been okay to laugh your butt off, because
you're talking about this play right here. I'm assuming. That's on I'm assuming you're talking about this one right here.
Yeah.
Boom,
yeah,
right in the face. Yeah.
I mean, I think that's just so wrong. Like you're
boom.
You're playing a game, you don't have these fundamentals just in you just don't have them memorized or in your head, and then these teams are just terrible. And it's just, Jesus is not, or Sanchez is not running to first base and finishing the play. I mean, that's just horrible. I mean, you see all these guys who just don't have this fundamental stuff embroidered in their brain. They're burned into their brain. Like, like there are players who, hit a ground ball to third base and then they do not run all the way to first base. They don't run through the bag like they should. They slow down for some reason just because they're lazy, or there's a pop fly and it's short, and so they don't run all the way. Well, how many times have we seen that the outfielder drops the ball and then they could have been at third if they
All
had
the time.
Yeah, and so this is a problem for me. Like the fundamentals of baseball is just going out the window sometimes with some of these players, and I get that I get like all these teams have all these problems, but still and this is why I thought Ron Washington was going to be really good for the Angels in a little bit of a sense, because he's really good at teaching the fundamentals of these games.
He might be overall though at some point.
Yeah, he may be, but it just kind of it was surprising to me because you see guys like Joe Adele. What did he do the other day? He ran around the base and got called out on like a infield single or something.
He did on that one. I do remember that. Edwards, I want to get your thoughts on the Diamond Notes here. I'm going to get the play here on with it real quick, and then I'll let you kind of go to work on what you think was your Diamond Note from the week.
The 0-2. Lined in the air to center. Judge racing back. It's over his head. One off the wall. Gallo is going to be held up, but there's two runners there. Now Gallo's caught. They have a runner caught between second and third. Gallo is watching it. Now he's headed home. The throw home, and now the runner goes back to second. Gallo's going to be tagged out. They have the other runner in a rundown. Nobody covering second, though. Two runners in rundowns, and it ends up an inexplicable.
So they end up getting the job done regardless there with it. What do you kind of got on your Diamond Notes for the week there? I'm kind of curious what you think of that and O'Neal Cruz as well.
Good, because that's the one I wanted to hit on. But to address this first, this goes directly to what Logan was just talking about, a lack of fundamentals. Let's talk about why there's no fundamentals anymore in baseball, because we rush everybody up at 19 and 20 years old to sign them to these long contracts, and they don't have time to cook. And these kids need to cook. It's not football where it's just size and speed. There's way more fundamentals to baseball to play the game at a high level, whereas football, in my opinion, is not as tedious when it comes to the details. So they've shut down a lot of the minor league teams. They're rushing kids up. The game's always been a business. Don't get me wrong.
No doubt.
The balance between the quality of the game and the business is no longer in balance anymore. It's more about making money than it is putting a quality product on the field. That's why I am severely and strongly against the MLB expanding, because you can't even field 30. You don't even right this year, because you've opened up the playoff system. You had 20 teams that were in the playoff hunt for the majority of the season. If we were still playing the game the way it used to be played, you wouldn't have that.
No,
it wouldn't even be close. So the quality of the game has gotten weaker. We're seeing weaker teams. They need to get back to fundamentals and basics and stop rushing the kids up.
I think
that's my opinion on that one.
No, I hear you. And I think there's always going to be a case where some franchises are going to want to rush up more than others. I think the O'Neal Cruz thing is interesting to see if they end up going against it. All men yells at clouds. Yeah, well done.
That's because she's new to the game and she doesn't appreciate what it was.
Susie, don't you ever let him disrespect you like that. We understand that.
I am not a boomer.
You are.
That's. I mean, I'm. Way
this lady sat in the bird den or whatever that's called there in Baltimore. She went to a 3-game home run, then sat through another another Astros loss. She was beaten to the ground this weekend by going to baseball. I'm sorry, Susie. You had to go through that this week. I'm sorry. Old man. It was good content that we all appreciated it from there. Okay.
Oh, Susie, did you take the Susie? Did you take the Amtrak to your 3 games?
Oh boy, did she take the Amtrak?
She is just being mean now.
Well deserved, right, Mr. Stitt?
It's been a while since I've done the old man Josh voice.
Yeah, we got old man Josh.
Back in my days,
I get to walk up the hill backwards there twice there. That's always like when the kids in kindergarten like, do the duck voice.
We used to
Like,
think the pitcher was allowing us to hit a home run, and then we would shake hands in the
Oh, yeah.
dugout. We wouldn't do
took
any of
one
these
train.
handshakes.
She took one trade. I mean, the fact that you were at 3 homer games, like I'm impressed. You picked the right game. I don't care if it was.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it was a good.
We
That
saw
was
the
a
three
that,
goats.
that was a good game there with that. That was that's as good as it gets with it. The last one we didn't talk. I'm just gonna go quick with it. This the Daren thing to me is just that's a crazy stat to be all together. With that, all right. Hey, baseball bonanza here. In your opinion, who's the craziest player in your lifetime? Like when you think this guy was freaking nuts, who do you think you think of?
Joe Kelly. No, Tommy Pham. Sorry, no, it's Tommy.
Yeah, he's
Nigel Morgan.
Guys.
How about Milton Bradley? He was one in my lifetime a little before. You got Milton Bradley. He played for the A's even a little bit. He played good against the Tigers in that ALCS. He was a little known for getting a little off the hook, we'll say, once in a while. Well, that's the reason he's on some other teams. So I would say Milton's maybe one of the crazy. How about Carl Everett? He had that big blow up one time with the Red Sox where he kind of went in the guy's face. Roberto Alomar is known for spitting in an umpire's face as well. Roberto Alomar
I would
Jr.
say Chris Sale.
Chris Sale. Well, that was I don't know about that one. I mean
currently.
He might. Do you remember Roberto Alomar Jr. where he spit in the umpire's face with the Orioles there against the Blues?
I was little, wasn't I?
Yeah, he was in Toronto at that time, and he just spit it was a big deal back in the day. There, Carl Everett's a big one. I have it up here, but one of these days it will be on the show, but it will not be tonight. He's on there as well, so he's a guy I think of. But Milton Bradley, he's the guy I think of.
Did you see that video of Chipper Jones on that podcast talking about Greg Maddux and what he would do?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I was like, I don't care if he's the greatest player of all time.
Yeah.
I would never want to have a player. If I put up my sock on and it had Greg Maddox's smoked bacon strip.
We used to have a girl that went to her said Terry. Her name was Terry Ured, so I call it a Terry Ured. That's what I call it for that. If you know what I mean. Yeah. Yes, we do not want urine on the sock. That's what
I would amputate my leg.
Who's the craziest guy now though? Is it Pham? Is he still the craziest guy?
He might be.
I mean, he hasn't been in the news in the last year.
Because Bumgarner's not in the league really kind of the same way.
Oh,
what do you guys?
Bumgarner, that was good.
He used to be. They're big with it. When I say ML player that has spent his entire ML career with one team, who's the first player that pops in your head?
Oh, really? You're not gonna do it.
I'm gonna let you go first. I'll let you take it.
I think Jeter.
I think Altuve.
Yachty.
Wow.
Yachty. I think Altuve. He's the first guy that sticks to it. He's like been with the Astros the whole time. He's kind of where I'm at with it. Kind of saw with it. So you guys went now. Yep, Susie. I'm an A's fan. I still with you because obviously an A's fan. I lose every player. So I've never been able to have one guy that has been with me the whole time. So I kind of remember you guys going against me the whole time with it. All right. When you think of teams that's collapsed in the second half, what teams come to mind? Is there a year? Is there a team? When I say this team,
there's a couple. Hold on, I gotta think.
My A's one year, they just absolutely. They ended up. Sonny Gray ended up throwing a complete game shutout against the Rangers and getting in as the wild card, and then they ended up losing to the Yankees in the first round. Liam Hendricks threw the first inning home run to Aaron Judge. Believe it or not, Liam Hendricks was the pitcher in the first inning against Aaron Judge in 2018 in that play-in game. That's what it was. But I remember the A's collapsed because guess who they traded? Yep, that's who it was. Cespedes for John Lester, and they just fell apart at that point. That's a big collapse I can remember.
It says the Astros last year.
That's a big one too. But
2021 Padres collapsed. They were right on the Dodgers' butts, and then after the All-Star break, that was when Tatis and Machado got into their argument. And then 2011. Braves are the ones that come into my mind.
That's a good call as well.
Both of them are responsible for the Cardinals getting into the playoffs.
That's a big collapse. Definitely know that. And I would say the Rangers against the A's in 2012 when Josh Hamilton drops the ball in center field. I mean, the A's had to win the last 10 out of 12 games to win the AL West, and they ended up doing it. They had to sweep the team before they played, and they had to sweep the Rangers. and they end up sweeping Ron Washington's Rangers at that point with Josh Hamilton dropping the ball in center field on Cespedes. A little fly ball there. So that's one I think was as well.
The
Astros too last year.
The 2011 Red Sox also. I mean, just the implications from that one. They lost the game 162 against the Rays on that.
Oh yeah, you're
Longoria
right.
walk-off, and
that was a good one. That's a good call right there.
They fired Francona.
Yeah, you're right.
Because of that season, and then
you're right.
I mean that was kind of weird. I mean, they went into 2013 and won it all, but man,
you're right. That actually was a pretty dramatic one.
Yeah,
that's as dramatic. You're right. That was as good as it gets, where he hits the home run down the line. That's when like MLB Big Inning first came out.
Yeah,
and you were like getting like all these multiple like views at one time. It was pretty sick. Like you're like, oh my goodness. And
you
now
didn't realize we were watching the greatest game of day of all time in baseball history.
What I like what Major League Baseball does on the last day of the season is what soccer does on the last day of the season is that they all play the games at the same time. Even though for me as a West Coast guy, 12:07, and I mean it sucks. It sucks. 12:07. I will never be able to watch a game at 12:07. Working at a school.
You will when you retire.
Yeah, well, when I retire, I'll enjoy it. When I'm in summer vacation sometimes, but it's a terrible time during school year. But like, I do like that they all have to play on the same time now during the last day of the season, not to get an advantage or disadvantage. So I kind of enjoy that little part about that MLB has kind of brought on to that schedule part of it there with it too. So I do like that part with it with teams that have collapsed in the. Do you guys remember our Cardinals team, or they've been pretty good when they haven't collapsed or anything?
I mean, I wouldn't say they collapsed in 04.
No, they were dominant until the playoff. Or I mean,
how about any of the Goldie Arenado era?
2020.
There was never a second half fall off.
They were
they always got better.
They were all average. You gotcha.
They were never really great to begin with, so they were crap at the end. So,
what do you guys think of MLB trivia tonight? Let's see if Mr. Stone.
I thought we were going to argue about the Cardinals tonight.
We're an hour deep now. We'll have to save that for next week. Well, Logan Stone, that's an incentive to come on next week. I got to get you and Tyler on because I was like, Giants and Cardinals to me are in the same boat. I want McGurk on, and it's going to be on a Wednesday next week, just to let people know. So. Because we're not going to compete against your precious Chiefs. We're not going to. So we'll go on Wednesday, and we'll go there with it. So we'll go Wednesday there with it. So we'll go Wednesday baseball talk now from this point on the rest of the season. Susie, if you're ever there, we're going Wednesday. And if you're in the playoffs, which I know your emoji October will do, I didn't want to get you on, and I am jealous of you guys with that little field trip you and Kelsey went on. I need to do that. I need to go hit up all those stadiums. So very jealous of that. So. All right, MLB trivia here, Logan, Josh Edwards. I played from 1995.
Oh wait, how do I turn the? Oh wait, never mind.
To 2014, finishing with 440 home runs, made 5 straight All-Star games.
He knows it. Just let him tell you.
No, he doesn't. I can't hear you. Who is it? I can't hear you.
Derek Jeter?
It is not Mr. Jeter.
Is it Derek Jeter?
It was not Jeter. Camden was gorgeous. I hear it's the most original state. How was the rest how was the rest of Baltimore? Considering Dave Chappelle, it's not. I'm just kidding. How was the rest of it? Dave Chappelle. Let's do a Dave Chappelle show after Baltimore. It's one of the best things I've ever heard. No, it's not Derek Jeter. So hit number 1. That's what it is. Played from 1995 to 2014, finishing with 440 home runs. There's no way on God's green earth Derek Jeter hit 440 home runs, but Logan gave that as well. Hit number 2 because I know they don't know it. I finished top 10 in MVP voting in the American League for 4 straight seasons, winning 1 MVP and finishing second in 2001.
In the AL?
Who do you have?
Is that the AL? I'm in the runner-up in 2001.
Yep. Who do you have?
Is that A-Rod?
Nope, not A-Rod.
No, go back to the first clue. Go back to the first clue.
440. Oh my gosh.
What was the years of their career? 95 to 14?
Yep.
Wasn't Luis Gonzalez, wasn't. Oh my gosh, why am I being so stupid here? I know this one.
If Susie gets this over you guys, I'm gonna be disappointed. If Susie she said it's only 2019, so I can be disappointed. She can get it. So yeah, hit number 1 there. Hit number 2, I finished top 10 in MVP voting in the American
Tell
League.
me.
Is it Lance? Is it Lance?
It is not Mr. Pants. Hit number 3, I won a home run derby, and my last 2 stops were in Colorado for 3 seasons, and Cleveland for 2 seasons. I also had a brother that played in the Major League Baseball and is famous for not sliding. Does anybody want to take a guess on who that is? Is famous?
Not Giambi.
It is.
Oh my goodness! Edward just got it. He is right tonight. It is Jason Giambi. Let's give him.
Wow.
Yes,
I can't believe it.
Mr. Edwards. We are third over.
You got it before me.
That's the first. That's the first time I ever got it over.
This is worth a short. We are worth it. This is April 3rd, 2000, ladies and gentlemen. Jason Giambi versus Hideo Nomo on the Tigers opening night. Let's go to work. Let's see what he's got for us here.
Well, he'll throw it throughout the.
Look at that ball. Look at that ball out there.
Goodbye.
Mr. Jason Giambi out there. Opening night. Mr. Hideo Nomo and the uniform out there with it. Josh Edwards smiling like he won the lottery tonight. We got to love this one tonight. That's impressive, Mr. Edwards. And I got to give my aides as much a shout out as I could have got. I would have never gotten that. Yes, you would have never. I'm sorry. I know you wouldn't have got it. But he was one of Susie. This guy was how you fell in love with the Astros. These guys, this is my team from 1998 to 2004. This is my ace team, and I'm losing them, unfortunately, after this month. So, Edwards, that's your clue for the rest of the months. You might get a little bit more A's in there the last month. I'm losing this team. Susie had her guy from Last Dive Bar on. He's as good as it gets. That guy from Last Dive Bar, he explains it better from an A's standpoint. It's just weird, guys, like losing your team and stuff like that. So it's very odd. So, I mean, I know you, Josh, someone known as a Rams fan a little bit there with it, but
dude, no, I was a diehard Rams fan, and when they left, I didn't watch the NFL for like 3 years.
Exactly. It's tough. It's like you're frustrated. That's how I feel. It's like, well, they go to Sacramento. It's like, yeah, I could drive. It's about a 45 to an hour longer drive, and I can go there. But it does. I'm just being honest. It does feel different. Sacramento is like 30 degrees different. So even an hour here is like, that's how big a difference it feels. Like I don't get Sacramento Kings basketball here in the Bay, out here in Northern California with that. So that's the area. So Jason Giambi, Josh Edwards. I'm impressed with that, my friend. That's as good as it gets with it. Are you guys starting to?
440 was what helped me. The 440 home runs, and then I was like, "Hold on, what years?" And I was like, "Oh, hold on." The brother, and I was like, "That it's got to be Giambi. It's not Giambi, is it?"
You're like, I know what that is. Finally, I got that.
That's how I went through that one. That was my whole thought process. I was just like,
he finally figured it out. Do you guys remember that Jason Giambi slide though? Like the one. I mean, that's the G or flip play, right? Like Logan. I'm assuming you remember that one at all, a little bit.
Yeah, Derek Jeter's
flip play. Yeah, against Jeremy Giambi. I mean, that's literally
because he went right over him, right?
He just Jorge Posada. It's literally one of the Terrence Long, a double down the line. Here comes Giambi. No, it's just like it just crushes all dreams. And then they lose the next game 2-1, and Zito goes 8 innings, 1 inning pitched, and he loses the A's biggest nemesis during that time, El Duque Hernandez. They lose to him 2-1. Posada hits a 2-run homer. Damn you, Posada. That was like a big just do not like you for that along the way with it. So
you know what's funny is I never actually thought about him sliding in that. That's
all I think about. That's all I think about is that damn slide, man. I don't care about the drug abuse. Slide. That's all I care about at that point. Slide at that point. All right. Should we get to Buck?
What a ride. The Cardinals are world champs in 2011.
It's going to be at least another 10 years.
Well, maybe 2055 if we're all lucky around society here. All right, we get to this is a Japanese baseball. You might have seen this along the year, but let's get it on the screen. He gets hit by a pitch, and yep, there he goes.
He's running away.
Yeah, no, the pitcher is running away. There we go. He is off
He's
to the
like,
races.
nope, that man is gonna
No,
hurt me.
he is off to the races.
I have to run the fastest
He is
I've
off.
ever ran right
He
now.
is off to the
This
races.
is horrible.
There.
This is like little kids playing soccer.
There he is. Whoa, we are off. There he is. I just remember this being a famous little thing. There he goes off.
I don't think I've ever seen a pitcher run so fast.
It reminds me of that Mr. Baseball thing where he gets hit and then he goes and attacks the mound and they're like, no, he tipped his hat.
That's exactly what this is. That's what this pitcher was like. What are you out of your mind, man? What are you doing out here? I promise you, I didn't mean to hit you. I would never do it again.
Stand there and swing, boy.
Just stand there and stay there. I won't do anything again. I will promise you I won't do it. That was fun, guys. Good show this week as well. I thought the diamond notes with it, Logan. Yes, I want to get more into the Cardinals Giants next week. So if you can stay on longer next week, I'd love to get you back on next week as well. We're gonna do Wednesday, sir. Or is that a Awana night for you guys? You guys do stuff.
I can try.
Wednesdays when we're gonna try to go Cardinals Giants a little bit with it to get kind of that. But I just felt like the Yankees and Ohtani stuff was too good tonight to be able to. We had to spend a little time on that as well. So, Logan Stone, appreciate you, man.
Yeah, and go Cubs.
No, son of a. He's trying to piss everybody off, Edwards, with that.
Wait, so Daren, I do want to ask real quick.
Yeah, please.
Who's the runner-up in the AL now for MVP?
I still think it's Witt, man.
Really?
I still think it's Witt. I really do. I just think that, the winning with him there and like the division right now with a month ahead, I just think he's still right there with it. I know.
If they win the division, Witt has a chance to beat Judge out for it.
If
the Yankees don't win the East, it's most valuable player, not best player.
Yeah,
he'd have to
like. Hasn't been the actual most valuable player though.
That's what that's why I think it's rarely ever right.
And Judge is the most valuable. Let's go. Susie and I are starting out our own show. It's going to be called
"Go Cubs Go."
I and Cubs Talk and getting drunk and Cubs Talk or whatever. You can work on the name.
On my bad side.
Susie, next week we're going to get.
I'll be a girl.
You can do it. I actually want to get more into you guys with Logan. I hope you do get because I wanted to talk about Cardinals and the Giants a little bit more, where they're kind of headed. I feel like them and the Cubs are in this weird spot together as a franchise. So I want to spend more time on it than I would have been able to get into it tonight. So I want to kind of talk to you guys about that, as you guys are Cardinals fans. So I actually want to kind of spend some time kind of a little bit dissecting that a little bit as well. That song is catchy. I will give you that. It is, Susie. How many stadiums has Susie? But she's probably been to more stadiums than I have now. And I've been to, I've only been to A's, Giants, Angels, Dodgers, the Kingdom I went to. I think that's, I'm trying to think, Candlestick. I went to a couple different Giant stadiums, but I probably haven't been too far outside the West Coast. So, Susie, you've probably done better than me now in terms of how many stadiums you've went to along the way. So
far.
That's not bad with it. Edwards, fun show. I look forward to kind of getting to your Cardinals next week. I know it's been a while on our show. We don't like to get into it every week. You do your thing Wednesday, but I do kind of want to get into that Cardinals Giants wild card discussion, Reds, Cubs, where are we at with these teams a little bit. And I kind of want to dive into maybe a little bit of where we're at with the Cy Young Award winners as well. So I kind of want to get into that discussion a little bit next week too, as we kind of get into the final September here of the regular season. What have we been doing this since January? Freaking insane, man. So basically, Edwards, looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to the end of the season, man.
Playoffs are going to be good.
Cubs, Camden, Yankees.
I think the playoffs are going to be really good this year.
Comerica not Comerica, Citizens Bank, and then Minute Maid.
Yeah, that's a lot as well. How many stadiums you been to, Sir Josh?
Total?
Yeah.
Four.
How many are Cardinal stadiums?
2.
And what were the other 2 that weren't?
Oh, yeah.
Cincinnati.
And both Cincinnati? There's got to be somebody close to you now. Royals, right?
Bush is closer than Kauffman, but I am going to go to Kauffman before they tear it down.
You got to get there. That would be a fun stadium to get to.
It's on the to-do list next year.
Yeah, that would be a good stadium to get to for sure. I want to get to that. There's so many good stadiums to get to
Camden is the best. I loved Camden.
And they sat in like just an unreal spot too. They were like right in that corner there, right where that guy's spraying the damn hose over there. So I was impressed with Susie over there with it. Susie, you know I'm going to be asking you to join here. Hopefully, I told you the October Moji. You guys will be on. So I that's why I'm not saying they want you to come on for September, Susie. I want October, Susie. We want to get the cream of the crop here with it. So we want to make sure. Wait till they're Terry Kaufman down. Go to Oakland, you son of a gun. Fly out here. Go to that stadium. Then you can really get an experience. Come on, Josh. Man up. You gotta
Nope.
that.
I have no interest in California. You know that.
Oh my gosh, man.
California's
bigger than Texas, man. We're not all the same, all right?
Wow.
I like Texas.
Yeah, all right. We're not all like Missouri. We're not all that small, I guess, in some ways. What do you got there, Logan, before we call it a show here?
Oh, I was thinking about going to see the A's in their last homestand, but it just wasn't meant to be this time.
I'm going September 7th versus the Tigers. That will be my last ever game in Oakland. I wanted to go on Sunday, but I just already my son has a soccer game that day, which I wanted to cancel, but we can't go. But because the A's, they do this thing on Sunday where so I'm probably going to try to go the Sunday before they play the Rangers, is where everybody, you can run on the field, run the bases. The kids can run the bases one last time. So that's the thing. That's the thing about going for Sunday. So I'm going to try to go there with it, but it looks like September 7th will probably be my last A's game in Oakland there with it. So that's probably looking like that with the end of the era there for me with it. But hey guys, good show tonight. Logan, I always enjoy you coming on, especially when we get to talk a little Yankees and Soto and what we've talked about through the week as well. So that's always fun. Josh, hopefully we drafted a kicker and defense for you that gets the job done as well.
I got Evan McPherson and I got the Baltimore Ravens.
How many? I mean, like Susie, one of my favorite things during football season when you say, "Oh, the Texans are playing foosball." I love that. That's one of my favorite things. So you keep that energy going during the season. I always love it.
She's a fan now. She watched a lot last year.
I heard she did it. I think she's a fan of it now from this point.
Is she a Chiefs fan or a Texans fan?
Oh, please don't be a Chiefs fan. Please don't be a Chiefs fan. My goodness. As a Raiders fan, Chiefs fan would be disappointed to hear. I would not want to hear that at all. I love it when I'm here, like doing, like, I live in Northern California. Like the Chiefs beat the Niners, and I'm like doing like little games with K through 8. They're like, yeah, Patrick Mahomes. I'm like, you guys you guys are unloyal. You are son of a guns here, man. I'm loving this. Yeah, I'm like unbelievable. These kids. Like I have one kid that has a chain with a 15 on it, and he's like in second grade. It cracks me up. So that was my favorite part of it. He's trying though. Foosball is actually a thing. Susie, you're right. Live and die with baseball. That's what we're here with here on Seventh Inning Stretch. I appreciate your comments on the show. Appreciate your podcast as well. You guys keep it real with everything there with along the way with it. So. Logan Stone, Josh Edwards. Hey, Edwards, we're in September next month, maybe. So here we go. We'll finish strong there with it. And we got playoffs right around the corner. So for Logan Stone, for Josh Edwards, 7th Inning Stretch. Guys, peace.
Bye.